We are only 2 days away until it is announced where Nebraska will play in a bowl game, and the rumors are running rampant right now. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my instant reaction to all the rumors, what's been going on behind the scenes, where will it be, Nashville or Las Vegas, who will we play, not only my reaction to everything, but I'm going to make my official prediction and everything else you need to know, along with all of the news from today, my reaction to Emmett Johnson declaring for the NFL draft, what this means for the Huskers and this running back room, a quick update around the transfer portal that we need to talk about, a candidate to be Nebraska's next offensive line coach. There's some movement going on behind the scenes, the implication of Matt Campbell going over to Penn State. There are some serious Nebraska ties, and my preview of every single conference championship game this weekend, and so much more. So really quick, this is a loaded update. If you're having a good Friday, because I know I am, hit that like button. And also for daily updates, talking Nebraska in the portal, Nebraska, the coaching carousel, recruiting, the bowl game, for so much more. If you want to stay in tune with the Huskers this offseason, it's no burden. Take 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Before we discuss the bowl game, all the rumors, my official prediction, all the news from today, I want to get things started with the headliner that was just released, that Nebraska star running back Emmett Johnson has declared for the NFL draft. He will not return to Nebraska for his senior season. So right off the bat, this is not shocking. I've been telling you guys for weeks now, if not months, that Emmett Johnson will enter the draft, despite the fact that Emmett loves the Huskers. He loves Nebraska. Again, I think his heart was telling him maybe to return, right? Because there's unfinished business. He could lead us to 9 wins. He could lead us to 10 wins. He would be in the mix for the Heisman. He could potentially make the playoffs, this, that, and the third. While his heart was maybe saying to return to Nebraska, his mind was saying something else. And we know that with running backs, the NFL judges you based on your potential, not your production like other positions. They judge you based on your potential. And even if Emmett Johnson ran for about 1,500 yards next year, his draft stock would go down because he would be an older running back. He would be more worn toward. Again, there's a bigger injury risk. So again, it was in his best interest to take advantage of this great season to go to the NFL. And I'm rooting for him. And wherever he gets drafted, even if to one of my rivals, I'm rooting for him because, again, this is somebody who's one of the best Nebraska running backs of all time, one of the greatest seasons of all time. And we are incredibly grateful for him. Again, he was not even going to be here this last year, right? He wanted to enter the transfer portal. If it weren't for Dana Holgorsen, he would have been gone. So again, so we're lucky that he stayed in Nebraska in the first place. And again, one of the greatest seasons in the history of the program. So my initial prediction to where he gets drafted, I have no idea, but I do believe he'll get drafted at the end of day 2, if not the start of day 3. So I'm thinking around 3rd or 4th round. Kind of just depends on how he tested the NFL Combine, his 40 time and all that. But right now, I'll say late 3rd round for Emmett Johnson, which is, again, very good spot, and I believe he's going to have a lot of success in the NFL with his work ethic, right? Again, he will not be denied. He wants to be the best, and again, sometimes in the NFL, these guys get complacent. Emmett Johnson never get complacent. He's going to be somebody who works hard every single day to be the best in the league. So rooting for Emmett Johnson in his next steps. Now, against TBD, whether or not he's going to play in the bowl game, it's still up in the air. We'll see. Again, I still kind of think he might. But at this point, again, it's about a 50-50. I bet that'll get announced within these next couple hours. Then going on to what this means for the rest of the running back room, because again, we know that we only return a couple players. You bring back Jamarion Parker, true freshman with a lot of high upside. Isaiah Mozee, got Mekhi Nelson in there, a couple other guys who pretty much no production behind their name. What are we going to do? Because losing Emmett Johnson is a huge deal. Well, I'll tell you right now, and the coaching staff already knows this, this running back room is not good enough. It's just not. I mean, you have a lot of potential there, but no production and a lot of wild cards. Mekhi Nelson, whether you like it or not, is a wild card with his results on the field and off the field. Okay, Isaiah Mozee, I think he has a really high potential, but he's not a bell cow running back. He is never going to be a bell cow running back. He is a hybrid wide receiver. He's somebody who's a 3rd down running back at his best. And I honestly think they might move Isaiah Mozee back to wide receiver this offseason. So I wouldn't even consider Isaiah in this conversation. And you got Jamarion Parker, whose upside's through the roof, but has no carries since Nebraska's career due to injury. So Nebraska, they're already pursuing a couple running backs in the portal. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I expect them not to only take 1. I think they might take 2. Because it's going to take 2 stand-up players to replace Emmett Johnson's production. But stay tuned on that. We're going to address this through the portal. All right, let's get to a quick transfer portal nugget. I was thinking about this last night. It says a lot about John Butler. The fact that we lost our defensive coordinator just a couple days ago, and we only lost 1 player to the portal in Kaden Vermaas. And trust me when I tell you, Kaden Vermaas did not enter the portal because of losing John Butler. That didn't really mean anything to him. He just left because he wanted to go play elsewhere. He knew he wasn't going to play Nebraska in his future. So it says a lot about our defensive coordinator that we lose such a prominent part of this coaching staff, and nobody even blinks. Let me remind you that last year when Tony White left, we had mass exodus. Literally mass exodus. Everybody was leaving who was good, right? James Williams left, Jamari Butler left, Stephon Thompson left, Mekhi Bayer left, Prince William Amiel left. Okay, we had everybody who was worth anything leave on the defense the second Tony White was announced because everybody loved Tony White. But if John Butler leaves and nobody leaves to, go with him, it just kind of tells you a lot, right? How well John Butler was perceived in that locker room. And that's something we've talked about even before he was fired. Like I told you guys, these players don't really like John Butler for whatever reason. I don't know. But again, I do expect more players to enter the portal from Nebraska within the next couple of weeks. Again, it's kind of this the calm before the storm, but I think we'll get a lot of clarity probably next week, and we'll get clarity when the portal opens up on January 2nd. But I expect at least 15 players to enter the portal, and a lot of those are going to be on the defense just for other reasons, but a lot of players in the secondary in particular. And also, we just need to give an ultimatum to some of these players because, particularly the quarterback spot. Like I was telling you guys earlier today, Dylan Raiola, we need to give him an ultimatum. Like, hey, Dylan, it's clear the coaching staff has no idea. The players have no idea. Again, they do not know what Dylan Raiola is doing because Dylan Raiola has not told them, okay? The coaching staff needs to sit down and say, Dylan, we want you here. We want you to stay in Nebraska. We're not going to pay you a bunch of money for no reason. We're already paying you a bunch, but we want you to be here. But we need you to want to be here. And Dylan, you have to tell us right now whether you're entering the portal or not. Because if you are entering the portal, we need to go after a transfer right now. We need to be prepared. But if you are coming back, that's great. We need to give Dylan an ultimatum because, again, if he's going to sit here and talk to other schools behind our back and his family shopping around, this is not a good look for anybody involved. And that's not good for Nebraska because we might be put in a very tough situation where we expect Dylan to return. He ends up leaving last second and we have no other options and we have to roll into next year with only TJ Marcos without bringing a transfer to compete with those guys. So again, there's going to be some movement, but at this point, Dylan, we're still on Dylan Watch. We had an update earlier today, but I do agree that we do need an ultimatum in this situation. All right, let's talk about all the bowl game rumors because it will be announced Sunday afternoon, maybe closer to Sunday night, where Nebraska will play in a bowl game. I believe it was announced last year at 2 o'clock on Sunday that we play in the Pinstripe Bowl. So I'm expecting something around there, 2, 3 o'clock, where we will play. Now, we know that pretty much every single publication, funny enough, has Nebraska playing in the Music City Bowl. Like every single publication you look at, whether it's, again, CBS we're looking at right now, ESPN, Pro Football Focus, you go down the line, everybody thinks Nebraska's going to play in Nashville, in Nashville in the Music City Bowl. However, when you ask this coaching staff, when you ask the players, they're fully expecting to go to Las Vegas. They're fully expecting to play in the Las Vegas Bowl against a former Pac-12 team. So really, it comes down to what Tampa does, right? That's the whole dirty secret, right? It's not whether Nashville wants us, not whether whether Nashville wants us, or whether Las Vegas wants us. It's what Tampa does, because Tampa's not going to take us, but Tampa has a choice to make. They're deciding between Iowa right now and Illinois. And if they were to take Illinois, then it would be between Nebraska and Iowa to get Las Vegas. They're the next team to select, and Las Vegas would take Iowa over us because Iowa's the better football team and Iowa's a great fan base just like us. However, if Iowa were to be selected for the Tampa Bowl, then it would be between Nebraska and Illinois to go to Las Vegas. And in that turn, there are a lot of expectations that they would pick Nebraska over Illinois. Despite us being a worse football team than Illinois, we have a lot better fan base, and the ratings are going to be through the roof. So again, it comes down to what Tampa decides. And really, it was expected that they would pick Illinois. However, with the new College Football Playoff rankings, Iowa is ahead of Illinois in those rankings, and they might just pick the best team available, which is Iowa. So with that being said, despite all these publications saying Nebraska is going to make the Music City Bowl, all signs are pointing to Las Vegas. So, there are pros and cons with both bowl games. Beggars can't be choosers. I just want to go to a bowl game in general. But, Las Vegas, and the pros around Las Vegas, number one, warm climate. It is kind of a holiday, kind of a vacation for our fans, for our players. You wouldn't really get that at Nashville, right? It's going to be cold in Nashville. It's going to be a very nice stadium. You're playing at one of the best stadiums in America, even though it is indoor. It's on New Year's Eve. It's going to get a lot of eyeballs. So those are the pros around Vegas. The cons are it's in Las Vegas. You guys already know how I feel about Las Vegas. Don't really love that destination. And you're also playing a really good opponent in a Pac-12 team with also less national intrigue. So you're playing a good opponent no matter what, but there's going to be less ratings around this game. You're not going to be playing, Tennessee. You're not going to be playing a Vanderbilt. You're not going to be playing like a Missouri like we would have played in the Nashville Bowl. So again, while we're still going to play a good opponent, it's not going to be as fun leading up to it. There's not going to be as much banner like there would be with an SEC squad. Nashville, again, pros and cons. Again, you're playing an SEC team. While you're probably going to lose that bowl game, again, it's a good team with a good fan base, and that's really fun for everybody involved. I expect more Nebraska fans to travel to Nashville than Las Vegas. There's a lot of Nebraska fans who are closer to the Nashville area. The only cons around Nashville is that it's very cold. Very cold, and it's technically not as good of a bowl game as Las Vegas. With that being said, my official prediction for where Nebraska will play in a bowl game, despite all the publications right now saying we are going to make the Music City Bowl, I'm going to go against my word. I believe Nebraska will, in fact, play Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, this is kind of what everybody's saying right now. It's what the team is expecting. They're expecting to play Utah. They're expecting to play in the Las Vegas Bowl. It was confirmed that Nebraska sent scouts down this week to Las Vegas to check out the stadium, check out that area. And again, they were already trying to get ready to book hotels, book flights for this. So again, this is what Matt Rhule expects behind the scenes. This is what the coaching staff expects behind the scenes. And I believe that Las Vegas Bowl has made it very clear that while an official decision hasn't been made, nothing's official, right? It's not official till Sunday. They've made very clear to Nebraska that if they have a choice to pick Nebraska or Illinois, they'll pick Nebraska in that case, and it'll be Nebraska versus Utah. So I do expect Nebraska versus Utah. Again, we'll play a former Pac-12 school. Again, there's kind of like 4 schools that we could play. I mean, USC, they're probably going to go to the Alamo Bowl. You have Washington, they're probably going to go to the Holiday Bowl. And it's really between Utah and Arizona State, but Utah's the better team, so we'll play Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. So that's my prediction. Again, that's going to be New Year's Eve at 2:30 against a former Pac-12 team. Quick little preview of Utah. Just kind of not a game that's really good for Nebraska. We play a dual threat quarterback in Devin Dampier, one of the best running backs in the Big 12 in Wayshawn Parker. You have a head coach who's likely about to retire. So again, they're going to be playing great football, try to avenge him. It's going to be tough for Nebraska, but regardless of who we're going to play, it's going to be tough either way. So that is what I expect Nebraska versus Utah to be announced, of course, on Sunday. Couple other bits of news from these past couple hours. John Garrison, there's a lot of smoke around him. So this is a familiar name to a lot of Nebraska fans. He's a former Husker, of course, was an offensive lineman in his past, was our offensive line coach under Bo Pelini as well. One of our best recruiters over these past couple decades. He was the stud. He brought a bunch of big time names to Lincoln, but he's went all over America over these past couple years. He's currently at Ole Miss in his 3rd year, one of the best offensive line coaches in the SEC. And right now, there's a lot of smoke around Ole Miss. We know they have a brand new head coach with Lane Kiffin going over to LSU. That again, John Garrison has a spot over there. It's not like he's going to be asked to leave, but he's a great coach. But who says he really wants to stay put in a potentially a rebuild? He's going to get interest nationwide, and he's somebody who's from Nebraska. So there's some smoke that if we were to make a change with our offensive line coach, which I still expect to happen once all is said and done, John Garrison will be the first guy we call to come home, who's already been here in the past. Again, I told you guys, I don't want to hire people just because they're from Nebraska, just because of the Nebraska connections. But in his case, his production is unbelievable at every single spot, including Nebraska. He was great when he was with the Huskers originally. So watch out for John Garrison, but a lot of smoke around him. It was just announced that Penn State is working to finalize a deal to hire Iowa State's Matt Campbell. I mean, right off the bat, this is a great move for Iowa State. It's a great move for Penn State. Iowa State obviously not very happy, but great move for Penn State, despite this, being a very long process. Matt Campbell's somebody who does more with less consistently. They don't have great recruiting classes. They don't have great NIL. They don't really get players in the portal. And Iowa State is always very successful. They're not making the playoffs every year, but they're a team that wins consistently about 7, 8, 9 games. Again, with a lack of talent. So really good hire for Penn State, but there are a couple implications for Nebraska now. Number one, Benjamin Brahmer, who's currently the starting tight end for Iowa State, who's from Nebraska, was a former Nebraska decommit. He's likely going to enter the portal. And if you're going to enter the portal, you better believe Nebraska is going to be the first team to contact him, return home. So watch out for Ben Brahmer. Also, this is kind of detrimental in our search for defensive coordinator Vince Karras, because we were talking about Vince Karras yesterday on the channel, how he's currently the DC over there at Toledo. Well, we know that with Matt Campbell going over now to Penn State, Iowa State has an open position, and they want to hire Toledo's head coach in Jason Candle. There's already rumors that Jason Candle is going to go to UConn either way, which means that Toledo's job is going to be opened up. And if Toledo has an open vacancy at head coach, you know who they're going to hire? Vince Karras. So I know a lot of Nebraska fans were like, some Nebraska fans in my comment section are like, we don't want Vince Karras. He's not a very good head coach, or he's not a very good coach in general. Well, he's about to be a head coach at Toledo if this all happens, and Nebraska's going to miss out on it probably. So we'll watch the Vince Karras situation, but all this kind of hurts your odds at landing in one of the best defense coordinators in America. We'll see, and it's already been confirmed that Nebraska is going after him. Okay, they want him. They want Vince Karras, but he also wants to be a head coach and wants to stay in Ohio. And if he's offered the Toledo job, he'll take that over being Nebraska's DC. All right, let's gloss over all the conference championship games this weekend. It's sad, man. This is the last full-on week of college football before we get to the playoffs. But again, conference championship week. I'm not a big fan of conference championship week because it's all neutral site environments. Kind of takes away what's unique from college football. But just looking over these real quick, you got Duke versus Virginia, late game tomorrow night. It's just not interesting. Virginia's not that good of a football team, and neither is Duke. Again, the ACC is just terrible. Just terrible. It is the worst conference. I thought the Big 12 was going to be the worst conference. ACC by far is the worst conference year in, year out. It was that way last year. Prediction, I do believe I actually think Duke's going to pull the upset. I just don't really buy into Virginia. They lost, the Wake Forest a couple weeks ago? Yeah, lost to Wake Forest. They only put up 9 points. So I'm just not buying the Virginia hype. I'm going to pick Duke in an upset. You got BYU, Texas Tech. That's going to be a big-time ball game, 11 o'clock. BYU got talent. You got talent. You better believe they got talent. But with that being said, Texas Tech beat them earlier this season. I think they'll do it once again. They beat them bad. It wasn't even close the first time they played. So I think Texas Tech will do it again to win the Big 12 championship. Just a lot more talent and a lot more money than BYU. You got the SEC title game. We can't avoid this matchup, can we? Every single year, Georgia, Bama. Again, Texas A&M was good this year. A couple other schools were good this year. Texas was, they were decent. Vanderbilt was decent. And yet we got to sit here and watch this for the millionth year in a row. I don't know. I'm gonna go Georgia here because Alabama got a lot to play for. If they get blown on this ball game, they might not make the playoffs. But Georgia's the better football team from a trench standpoint, even though Alabama has the better quarterback in Ty Simpson. And then the big one, which everybody will be watching tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Indiana number 2, number 1 Ohio State. You can look at the matchup predictor, about 50-50. I've never seen it that close. I'm going to go Ohio State here. Even though I want Indiana to win so bad, and they got a Heisman and Fernando Mendoza, I believe he should win that award. Got a solid receiver core. Of course, great head coach to Kirk Cincinnati. They're going to be ready to play. Ohio State's Ohio State. They're the front runner to win the Natty. They also have a great quarterback themselves in Julian Sayin. Great running core. I believe while Indiana wins the battle of the trenches, Ohio State wins in a way bigger aspect, right? Again, they have the best offensive line of football. They have the best defensive line of football. They have a great DC. They have a great OC. There's just not much that Ohio State lacks at. Even though I do think it's going to be a competitive ball game, it's not going to be like last year. Ohio State, I believe, will win by about a touchdown against Indiana. All right, and then going over the other games, again, you got Troy, James Madison. James Madison will roll them. Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State. Give me Kennesaw. Give me Kennesaw. North Texas, Tulane. Give me North Texas in the upset. Oh, wait, no. They're favored. I was not expecting that. But they still give me North Texas. UNLV, Boise State. Give me Dan Mullen's UNLV. And then Miami, Ohio, Western Michigan. Give me the Broncos over there at WMU. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below about everything. Hey, if you made this far, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe. As always, folks, go Earl. And I'll see you in the next one.